Hey, it's Abby from 98.1, Minnesota's New Country, and we are joined in studio today by Austin Plaine. Hello, Austin.
Hello, Abby. How are we doing?
Good. Welcome back to Minnesota.
Thank you. Feels good.
So for those of you who are unfamiliar with your work and who you are, just give a quick little intro for who you are, what you do.
So I'm a singer-songwriter. Originally, I graduated from Sartell back in 2010, and I've been living in Nashville for the last 5 years, roughly. I play a lot of folk Americana music. I've been touring the last 4 or 5 years. I've put out 2 records, and working on the 3rd one right now in the studio.
Oh, that's exciting. Because you just put out an EP earlier this year, right?
Yeah, during pandemic, we all had a lot of time. Songwriters had a lot of time because there was no touring, no live music going on. And so what we did was we all learned how to record from our homes. And so that was kind of the fun thing for me to do and use my time wisely, was to write a bunch of songs and put out an EP. So
I would say so. So how was that transitioning from, because you've made 2 albums in the past, and then you went from studio to your house?
Yeah, I mean, I've grown up always kind of recording myself. In college I was experimenting with a bunch of different recording ways, and GarageBand and Logic and little USB microphones. And as you get older, then you start buying better equipment, and you have a lot more versatility to work on music. And so it was a natural transition. I mean, I love to record demos and do all the fun studio work just as much as I love playing live music.
It's nice that you have a love for both of those things, because if you love one but hate the other, it could make for a very challenging job some days.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all kind of what you want to do. There's a lot of room to work in a studio, and you don't have to tour. And a lot of people that I know down in Nashville just tour, and they're not in the studio. So if you can find whatever balance works for you, that's the happy medium.
That's for sure. So you went from Minnesota down to Nashville. How was that transition initially for you? Did you have friends down there that you knew and you were migrating towards?
I made my first record back in 2014 with my buddies Dane and Jordan Schmidt. They're from Duluth, actually.
Okay.
So they brought me down to Nashville way back when, and so I kind of already had a little network of people when I officially made the move back in 2017. But yeah, I call Nashville, well, first of all, it's a drinking town with a music problem. So, we try and kill 2 birds with 1 stone down there. But it's an inspiring town, but it's also demoralizing because you realize how good everyone is. So yeah, the first year is shell shock, but if you stick with it, it's a good town to be in.
When you were down there, have you been doing, initially were you playing all the bars and all that? Because here when you go down there, it's nothing but live music from bar to bar, and there's a different performer on every floor.
Have you been to Nashville?
I have not. My fiance went, and he had the best time ever. He doesn't stop talking about it.
I recommend you go to Nashville and see it for yourself. But yeah, there's a lot of bars, a lot of live music. I have a lot of friends that play on Broadway. That's the whole run through. I don't play that type of music. I'm much more of a singer-songwriter, folk Americana artist. Quieter cafes are more my tea, but the loud bands and the large bars down there, it's a spectacle, and it's something fun. If you ever go visit, it's a cool place to see.
Well, if I head down there, I'm going to have to get your tips on the quiet cafes, because that way I can avoid the bachelorette parties, which I hear are crazy.
Well, there's that famous place called the Bluebird Cafe.
Yeah, that's right.
If you ever seen the show Nashville or whatever, I had a couple songs on that show.
No way, really?
Season 8, Season 7.
How did that happen?
I was working with a publishing company down there, Concord Music, and they were doing a lot of TV and sync placements for that show, and they loved my catalog. So, they re-sang a bunch of my songs on, I think, this Season 8. And one of my good friends, Jake Etheridge, was an actor on that show. Lennon Stella is a good friend of mine, and so it was just a cool camp of people to work with.
That's so funny that you mentioned that, because as I was listening to your music, once I heard you were coming to play at Back Shed, I'm like, this just sounds like something that could be in a movie or a TV show. So the fact that happened, I was on the right track.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been my shtick for the first few years of my career, was doing a lot of TV and sync placements for TV shows. Heart of Dixie on Netflix, Nashville, like I said, and a bunch of, cable television shows.
That's awesome. So are you singer-songwriter full-time now, or do you got side things that you do, more of the TV stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm primarily working on my solo stuff, working on this 3rd record right now, but, there's publishing owns catalogs, and every now and then you get a placement, but the focus is on working on this record and getting it out to the people and playing live again. So
that's awesome.
That's the focus.
So do you have like an expected date for the album? You thinking next year sometime?
We're about halfway done with it right now.
Okay.
Trying to get as much done before the end of the year. But yeah, it's a lot of work to get an album out, and it'll probably be late next year at the earliest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Something fun to look forward to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, we got you playing here in the St. Cloud area. You're going to be at Back Shed Brewing coming up on Wednesday, right before Thanksgiving.
Absolutely, yes. Very excited.
It's a great place. Cannot wait to see you out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tickets are only $15. The show is going to start you're going to go on at 7. There's someone opening up for you. Doors are at 4 o'clock, and we got your link to tickets at minnesotasnewcountry.com and on the 98.1 mobile app. Austin, before I let you go here, where can people find you online?
My name, Austin Plaine. Instagram. I don't like Twitter. I don't use that. Facebook isn't my friend either. But I guess I'll post every now and then on Instagram. If you really want to find it, look up the music. I think that's if I can have one moment to preach, it's less content, more music in the world today. So I just urge people to check out the music and less about what I post on social media. So that's what I care about.
I love that. That's such a unique thing to hear from an artist these days, and that's a vibe that checks out in my book.
Adele put out that record recently, and she literally told Spotify that the only way I'm going to put it on Spotify is if you get rid of the shuffle button, because her album is meant to listen from track 1 to track 11.
How an album should be listened to.
How an album's supposed to be listened to, and I commend people like that, and I think we need to have more people stick up for the music rather than just trying to, catch your 5 minutes of fame, because it's not 15 minutes anymore. It's literally 2 minutes of fame these days. So, yeah, if you can write good songs and put good music out, that's what matters the most.
And I'd say you're on the right track with that. I think from the first note, people are going to be hooked once they hear your music.
Well, I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Austin. Welcome back to Minnesota.
Thank you.